Welcome to the Coffee and Kidlit Show. My name is Travis D. Peterson, and if you've been watching over the past 6 months or so, we've got a brand new season here of the Coffee and Kidlit Show where we'll be talking to lots of new Kidlit authors, and you can tell that there's a little bit of rebranding to the show. And I just saw a cat run by. That's awesome. So I'm so happy to have Charissa Bates on the show today. And we'll be talking to her about her book, The Traveling Book, and just her journey with publishing that book and everything that's happened with it. And I'm so glad to have her on the show. But if you're new to the show, we're all about imaginative stories and real conversations. And what I do is I talk to children's book authors who have put out some really inspiring books. And the conversations are always so fun and so inspiring. So I'm looking forward to this new season, and hopefully the episodes for this year will be a little bit shorter than they were last year. And but if you would like the extended conversation, you can join me on Patreon at patreon.com/launch mission. And we have some I have some tiers up there for those that would like to sort of the backstage pass to the conversation. You'll be able to hear a little bit more about the self-publishing journey and all of that. So I hope you'll join us there. But Charissa, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you, Travis. I'm excited.
Absolutely. Tell us about your cat.
Oh my gosh. Actually, my cats are in all of my books, so it's embarrassing that they're coming on the screen. They will, they like to come on up by
What are
me
their
when
names?
they're gone. So anyways, that was Skitter. She's really old. Only likes me, so that's why she's on coming out right now, because all my kids are at school.
You're probably hearing us talk too and wondering what's going on, right?
Yes, I guess so. Funny.
So could you just kind of introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your background?
Yeah, so I have 3 kids. I live in Minnesota. So I have 3 kids. They are 11, 8, and 5. So they're all in elementary school still. So that's pretty fun for them and for me. And so my background is actually kind of funny, since Travis, you're in Norway. My parents own a lefse company, like probably one of the biggest ones in the United States. And they hand roll lefse. And so I've grown up American, Norwegian American culture like all my life. So I have a lot of Norwegian stuff in my dining room right now, actually. Anyway, so I was thrilled to come on here since you're in Norway. It's like a dream come true.
Now, for those who are watching and have no idea what lefse is, tell them about lefse.
Oh gosh. So lefse is, okay, Travis might need to correct me since he's a true Norwegian over there, but our lefse is like, it's almost like a tortilla, but it's like made out of potatoes and flour. Well, tortillas are made out of flour, but potatoes, flour, and some other ingredients. And then you roll it out flat, and then you put butter and sugar on it. Or really, people put meatballs and all sorts of things. But you roll it up and it's like a dessert. I wish I had some to show you, but I ate it all, so I don't have any.
Yeah,
but
we should have both had some lefse to share on the show here. I didn't think about that. That would have been cool.
Yeah, so anyways, my daughter, who's 5, just rolled her first piece of lefse a couple of weeks ago, so that was pretty fun. But yeah, I feel like when I hear about lefse in the United States, people like our Norwegian, Scandinavian roots, we're all like, lefse. And then you talk to people in Norway and they're like, yeah, it's sometimes around, sometimes not. I don't know. That's true. But I feel like us in America, we're really excited about lefse.
That probably up in Minnesota, big time, I would imagine.
Yes, Minnesota, Wisconsin.
Norwegian. Yeah.
Yes. So
now lefse is, I think, correct me, you may know better than I do, but some people here in Norway, they will wrap their hot dogs with lefse.
Yes.
Is that right? Is that the same thing?
Yes. So my parents used to do this, go to Norway Days. We're from Wisconsin, but they come up to the Twin Cities for this festival called Norway Days. And they'd get Swedish meatballs that kind of look like a hot dog and wrap it and call it lefsebuse. I don't. So I think it might be kind of Swedish, kind of Norwegian, but very big hit. Kind of miss that. But yeah, people put all sorts of different things on it. We have a Norski Nook, which is in Wisconsin, like a 3-restaurant chain that's very Norwegian, and they do meatballs and gravy and some other things and wrap it up as like the entree, which is kind of fun.
Okay.
So yeah. So very
That's
Norwegian.
fun.
So
Now, remind me, is it your grandparents or your parents that are from Norway?
my grandmother's parents were originally from Norway, and she was 100% Norwegian and not born in Norway, and they started it, and now my parents own it. So
Okay.
we've been around it since we were born.
And I saw you actually mentioned Norway in your book. The book travels to Voss, Norway, which is only a couple of hours from where I am in Bergen, just outside of Bergen. Have you been here before?
No, we're looking at planning a trip when our kids are just a little bit older, because we don't want to spend all that money for them to complain that it's boring.
Yeah.
The historical parts that we'll want to see, my husband and I. So no, but that's on my bucket list. So
Well, I can say, as a dad of also a 5-year-old and an 8-year-old, flying on a plane between Norway and the US is a lot of fun. And I say that very sarcastically.
I can't imagine. I can't, honestly.
Yeah.
And my 5-year-old doesn't play like video games or like to watch a lot of like TV. So I can't even imagine how a flight would go with her at this point. And then to go look at, historical sites and nature for 2 weeks, I just don't think that's worth our sanity or money right now.
Right.
But I guess moving forward from my childhood, I am right now I'm a children's mental health therapist, and I've worked in schools for 15 years. I took about 5 years off when my kids were little, and then I got back into therapy. Like about a year ago, I got back into doing therapy, and in between that, I was diagnosed with cancer, and a rare and aggressive type, and it was kind of a shock to our whole family, because really there's been a couple people with cancer, but it wasn't like a ton of people up our family tree that have had cancer. So during that, I started writing blogs for the Young Survival Coalition, which is a cancer support community for young people with cancer. And then a friend approached me wanting to do some writing, and we wrote a book, and then we branched off and started out writing a children's book for kids that have a parent with cancer. And then it kind of snowballed into other books, like my traveling book, and just kind of a fun creative outlet. And I always say it's nice to have something to focus on when you're what used to be called remission. Now it's called no evidence of disease. So it's nice to have a focus and an outlet. So when you start to get concerned, maybe something's not going right, or you're feeling sick from the aftermath of chemo, it's kind of nice to have this creative outlet. And I've really enjoyed writing and seeing the books come to life. That's always really fun.
Absolutely. Tell us about that first children's book that you wrote. Since we're on that subject, I wanted to find it and pull it up here.
Yeah, I have it too.
Oh, that's your first one. Okay, yeah, I was thinking
that's
of
my
the
first
one. Yeah, okay. I'm a good neighbor.
Oh, sorry.
Just like
good neighbor like Jesus.
I'm a good neighbor like Jesus. Okay.
Oop, here we go.
Yeah. Tell us about that one.
So my friend and I wrote it. We wanted like an easy, just an easy book for younger kids to know how to follow some of the messages of the Bible, and just make it really, really simple and easy actions. So we have different things like Jesus was a good listener. I listen to my friends because it's important. We put a few different things in there with, Jesus cared for everyone. I play with friends at the park. And it's just a very, very simple, sweet book. And then there's at the end, there's different questions. So if you're in a smaller church where you don't have quite the resources to have, the big programs that some people can afford, they could read this book and do a lesson, and there's worksheets online. So that one's very, very sweet. It's our first one, and there's a find a bear in there for the younger kids. So if they're getting bored while an older kid is listening to the book, they can look for the bear, which they really like. Let's see, I can show you. So there's like a find the bears in the book. So, and this is my daughter, Anya. So it's Anya Bear in the book. We call her Ani Bear, but we didn't think people would understand how to pronounce it. So she's Anya Bear in the book, but we call her Ani Bear at home. So that was very, very sweet.
Sounds like a really great book for Sunday school and small,
small
classes,
children.
maybe even homeschool classes or different things like that as well.
Yep, we've gotten feedback on the homeschooling community liking it for a supplemental lesson when they're doing different ones. Sorry, my computer's moving.
And so after that, We Find Joy? Is that the name? No.
Yes. So
We Find Joy.
So I started writing We Find Joy right after I'm a Good Neighbor Like Jesus, but that one didn't come out till my third book because that one, my kids and I wrote it together. And my husband, it was like a 50-page children's book at the beginning. So we kept cutting down to our favorite joyful activities that we found while I had cancer. So it was hard. It was hard to cut it down, but that one came out third, and it's all about our experiences while I had cancer, because I was so sick, because unfortunately, the cancer I had to use the harshest chemo because they don't have any targeted therapy yet for it. So I was pretty sick, and we still tried to look for a little bit of joy each day, and I did too. And it's kind of what got us through. So we wanted to write a book that kids could relate to and feel empowered while a parent has cancer. And I didn't really know how that book would do, but honestly, it's been selling better than my traveling book, which has sold. The traveling book has sold more books, but We Find Joy seems to be one that people are still coming back to even after it's been released for a while. So it's exciting that it's getting used. It's kind of sad that it needs to be used. I'm hoping one day that book won't be needed.
Absolutely.
But I only have it on my coffee mug. I gave up. So I'm a terrible business person and I give away a lot of books. So I gave away all these books. I don't have any more right now. So I have it on my illustrator sent me this, well,
that's a great book to give away.
Oh yeah. Hoping to connect with American Cancer Society on a few incentives to raise money for a cure for cancer and maybe Relay for Life through the American Cancer Society. So I'm hopefully we can have a bigger outreach in the future is my goal.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We have a comment from Carly Valentine. She says, Hi, Travis. Hi, Charissa. I need to try lefse. No clue how it's spelled. You got it right, Carly. Love all Charissa's books. Charissa, you're so amazing and inspiring. Love you, girl.
Oh, Carly, I'll send you some lefse. Carly's
there you go. Yeah.
She's very supportive. She's great.
And if anyone else is watching, please send your comments, send your questions. If you have any questions for Charissa about her books, and the links are down in the description to her Amazon listings for all of her books. So be sure to check those out. But the book that we are here to talk about today is the traveling book. And this came after We Find Joy. Tell us about the traveling book. What is that one all about?
Okay, so if you know me, but you don't yet, but you guys hopefully will know a little bit more about me. I love little free libraries. Like, I'm obsessed with them. I probably have visited 500 of them, if I had to guess. I just love finding them. And we have a little free library in our front yard that looks like this. it looks like Hogwarts from Harry Potter. That was kind of our inspiration. And my father-in-law built it with my kids helping him design it. And then my illustrator friend like transformed it into this like masterpiece. Like I can't even explain how amazing it is. So this is Hogwarts. So you can kind of see it. I wish I had a picture of the actual one. But there's like a peeking hole on the side where you can look in and see a Quidditch match going on. In the bottom is Hagrid's hut, and it's really fun. We get a lot of people coming just to check it out and take a picture with it, which is really exciting. We had a different Little Free Library. We've had a Little Free Library for I think we're going on 8 years. Our first one was Wayne Manor and the Batcave, and there was a peeking hole where you had like this elegant mansion like on the top, and then the Batcave on the bottom. And I loved it. It was the outside, you wouldn't know that it was the Wayne Manor. When you opened it up, you'd see it, and the wind took the door off. So my poor father-in-law had to build us another one. It was very I was actually quite devastated that I didn't have my Little Free Library for like 6 months. But now we have this cool Harry Potter one, so I guess it was worth it. But for those that don't know what Little Free Libraries are, they are, let's see, you can kind of see, here's another one. They're little, as a kid told me, they're like book houses. They're like a lending library that you can, they're like a lending library where you can bring your books to it. You can take a book to read. A lot of stewards, there's, I think, 140,000 registered Little Free Libraries all over the world. And the stewards that maintain the Little Free Libraries, they take it so seriously and they're so passionate. A lot of them make sure that there's very good books in there. There's bookmarks. Sometimes people put crafting kits in them. But it was started in Wisconsin, really close to where I am. And then now it's moved to Minneapolis, the headquarters. But they truly are all about getting books in the hands of anybody, not just kids, but anybody. And it's just it's fun to see the exchanges. And I really enjoy too much organizing my Little Free Library. The books need to be little kid to middle school, and then the adult books go on top. And I have a lot of fun and maintaining it, probably more fun than the people that visit it because I'm just obsessed with it. So anyways, that's why I wrote a book about it.
Yeah.
It's about Little Free Libraries. One day I was just thinking about, sorry, go on.
Go ahead. No, I was going to ask you how did you get to writing a book? Like what inspires you to write about this?
So I was thinking about the books I had written, and I was thinking about, gosh, there should be a book about Little Free Libraries. And there's a couple out there. One about the history of Little Free Libraries. A really cool one that came out for a nonprofit that has they call it the book buggy, and they have like a bus full of books and they drive it around to different neighborhoods and offer books. It's really neat. They just came out with one after mine came out. And I just kind of wondered, where do the books go? Like, do they come back to the Little Free Library? Do they go to different ones? Do kids keep them? And so thinking about that, the traveling book, which is this little blue book, came to life, and he just travels to all sorts of houses. He has a little girl that's reading him, and then he gets forgotten about because, she moved on to a different book. And it's really just the life of a book. These are my favorite pages. They are like little walking paths, and you can see the different Little Free. Oh, here we go. Thank you. Yeah. You can see the different Little Free Libraries. And each Little Free Library, all of them are inspired for some reason. And it's really fun to hear the stories and put the stories into the book. This one up in the corner, they have 2 therapy dogs that come out several times, and the kids get to pet them while the steward reads books to kids. So that's really cute. This one in Minnesota.
These are actual little libraries that are
Yes.
around. In fact, I think you've got like this must be Delaware,
Yeah.
Arizona, Minnesota, Texas. So you can actually find these little libraries around.
And they're all in the, there's a little free library app that tells you which ones are within like 5 miles of you or further, depending on what you want to look for. And you can find them all on the map, except one you can't find yet. And it's on this page, is this Lego one. They haven't put it out yet. They're still building it. They're my friends that are building this Lego one, and it's going to be epic because it's made of Lego. So the outer structure, I should say.
Well, when you were describing yours, the Hogwarts library, I was picturing kind of this some ideas for a Lego built house. So that's cool that that's in there.
Yes, people have built little tiny little free libraries out of Legos. I've seen them on Instagram. Super cute. Yeah. So, anyways, I love little free libraries, and my illustrator Nadia, she really brought my idea to life, and I was pretty excited to see the finished project.
And this isn't the only spread in the book that shows these, like this book just continues to travel. It goes into some kids' homes, and it goes into a thrift book or a thrift store, and then it ends up in some other libraries, and it's just kind of all over the place, right?
And that's kind of books in general. I think about all the books that I either put my little free library or passed on to nieces and nephews or friends. And it's, some of the books are, older than me, and it's kind of exciting to think about where they go. And the last page is my favorite page in the whole book. And my other books that I've written, part of this series, will have the same page, but it says,
I can pull it up here.
Oh yeah. So that's my favorite, because at the end it's like, all of my travels have led me to you. How lucky am I? And the kids are holding the book. And it's like, hopefully they feel the love of the book after feeling all the emotions the book felt throughout the book. And that's my hope, is they feel like, I love this book. Oh, it loves me. I want to read it.
Yeah.
So that's my hope, at least.
So have you been able to track a book and see kind of where it goes? Because I know you've got a spread in the back of the book, places I've been, where did you get me, where kids can kind of write their names in the books. But have you been able to track any books and see how far they've gone?
So some of the stewards said they're not ready to let go of the book that have bought it. Mm-hmm. And some of the kids have said they're not ready to let go of the book yet. So some people are keeping them, which is super touching. And some people, no. So the answer is pretty much no, because one steward has tracked where her little free library, or where her traveling book has gone. She sees it all over town, which is kind of fun. And then she sends me a picture. But my next project is to get a, geocaching. Do you know what geocaching is?
Mm-hmm.
Is to put one of the tracker bugs in there and make our little free library a geocache. And then hopefully we can see with the bug or the code where it's gone with geocaches, at least. So that's my hope, because the newer books have a spot where you can tag my social media, but we haven't gotten quite that far yet. So I wish I knew. I think it'd be really fun.
Now, you've got some companion books to go along with this one. Tell us about those.
So since I work in mental health and I work with children, this was more for myself, but other people obviously have bought it too. But I have just an Exploring Your Feelings book with the traveling book. And it's a very simple book. It's just talking about different ways to refocus, take care of yourself. Let me see. And I got my favorite in here. There we go. The book breathing, which is kind of just looking at the corner of a book and breathing and holding it. That's my favorite. My other one is a little tracker book. And this one is really fun. You can leave it in your car. So when you find a little free library, so adults are using this too. So originally I thought it'd be for kids, but the adults are really enjoying it too. And you just draw a picture or write about the little free library you found. You could put an actual picture in, and the kids or adults can write which books they got. If they read them, they can rate them. It's hopefully to get kids excited about books. It's like they can get a book from the Little Free Library that they can keep if they want, but then they can also track where they can. It's kind of like a little, how maybe you don't, but like national parks have tracking books where it says where you go, which national parks you go to. So it's sort of like that for Little Free Libraries, which is really fun.
Okay.
My daughter gets into it. She loves coloring, and it's a good activity in the car to do when we're on long road trips. So, yeah.
So from what I'm gathering, you actually kind of designed this book to be passed on and to be shared either through these little libraries or through, just being passed on through thrift stores or wherever, passed on to friends. So it's not really one that you're expecting people to hold on to, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, our connection is bad. I don't know why. The connection is having a little trouble. I'm not sure why. Let me see on my end.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yes. But you're cutting out. I don't know why.
Are you there?
I'm here. Sorry, I don't know what happened.
Okay, yeah, I'm not sure either. It could be my internet speed here. I've been having some issues with my high-speed internet not being so high speed.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah. So thank you so much for sharing with us about your book and just for any advice that you might have for families out there with little ones about these little free libraries. What would you say to them?
So I guess a tip that I have, which you don't even have to follow this tip to stop at them, is to have books that you are ready to pass on in your car, so you can have the kids put one in and then they can take one out when you stop at them. A lot of stewards are okay if you take a book without putting one in. I mean, one book. If you clear it out, they would probably get a little upset. But just to stop at them, because it's really fun. It's fun for kids to pick out a book that they can keep. And I found a lot of good books for myself. So it is a win-win if you stop for a quick trip. And sometimes it's a nice little free activity to do if you're traveling somewhere. I found one in Rochester while we were there that looked like a rocket ship from it was I don't know, 4 feet tall, and it was shaped like a rocket ship. And that was really neat to get out and look at. So you can have a really fun adventure, and it's a free adventure. So that's always win-win when you have kids, since they're expensive.
I was on the Little Free Library website and just to see what was registered here in the area. And there were a few here on the west coast of Norway, Nothing really close, but I know there's a free library in Bergen, not far from where I live, and it's actually an old phone booth, like
Oh, cool.
red phone booth, like you expect Superman to come out of, and it is packed with books, but it's not registered, so we need to figure out how to get it on the website. But that's a lot of fun.
There's a lot of Doctor
So
Who tortoises,
yeah,
and they're
yeah,
packed
absolutely.
too. They're really fun.
Really?
Yes, they're really fun to go into because there's like hundreds of books in there. Probably
Yeah,
like
you can fit a lot of books in there.
Yeah, fun.
Absolutely. Well, we are not finished talking, even though we've had some issues with the speed here. Charissa and I are in conversation, and you can join us with a backstage pass on patreon.com/launch mission. And this is a great place for those of you who are a fan of the show, or maybe you are also a Kidlit author, or you're an aspiring author and you're wondering about self-publishing, because the extended conversation will be more focused on that part of the journey and talking about self-publishing. So I hope you will join us over there. And if not, we will see you in a couple of weeks on the Coffee and Kidlit Show.